Hello, welcome to the Penn State Deer Pens. My name's Don Wagner and I'm the facility manager here. I went to Penn State as a student and worked here when I was a student and then took over managing it in 2000. And this particular facility has about 22 acres fenced in. We have a captive herd of white-tailed deer that we use for research and teaching. It's one of the few facilities in the country that's operated by a university that's dedicated to deer research. We're within the College of Agriculture here at Penn State and managed by the Department of Animal Science. Basically, this facility is used for any type of hands-on work that we need to do with the deer or any type of research or teaching that involves hands-on work. It's divided into 9 different pens, so we can move animals around based on different research projects or different breeding herds or different age groups, things like that. So we have a lot of flexibility within the facility. So we can work on projects where we might need to record how much the animals eat on a daily basis or collect blood samples on a weekly or monthly basis. Things where we need to get our hands on the animals or observe the animals on a daily basis. That's basically what the facility is set up for. We also have a handling barn with 24 individual pens where we can bring animals inside and work with them. And then we also have a classroom here where we can do hands-on labs and teaching and things like that. So this facility operates as a research facility and a teaching facility. I'm the only full-time employee, and then we hire undergraduate students, typically from the College of Agriculture, in the majors of animal science, wildlife and fishery science, veterinary biomedical science, and then sometimes forestry or biology. Basically, they help with all of the aspects of all the work that we do here at the facility. Anything from the routine feeding, watering, and herd checks that we do on a daily basis to the semi-annual vaccinations where we handle all of the deer, bring them in, vaccinate them. And then they're also involved with all of the research projects that we do here. The project that we're working on right now is looking at the interaction between wild deer and captive deer along the fence line, and we're looking at different ways to mitigate and prevent disease transmission between wild deer and captive deer and vice versa. So we're working on a study. We have a grant from the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture looking at different designs of electric fences. And basically what we have here, we have the main perimeter fence, an 8-foot or a 10-foot high fence that's keeping our captive deer inside. And then we're looking at different designs of putting electric fences around the outside or on the inside to keep nose-to-nose contact to a minimum from the wild deer that are out here on the outside, keeping them from coming up against our captive deer, and then also vice versa, keeping the captive deer away from the wild deer. So we're looking at different fence designs. This is just one of them, a 3-wire fence, 2 feet off the perimeter. We've looked at some other ones, some 6-wire fences, and right now we're looking at all the videos, and we have over probably about 40,000 hours worth of videos that we're reviewing that we've taken throughout the year and looking at behavior and interactions along the fence line. The project is mainly focusing on chronic wasting disease because deer in the wild in Pennsylvania in many areas have chronic wasting disease. Also, some deer on some deer farms have chronic wasting disease. So basically you want to prevent the interaction between wild and captive deer to prevent the disease transmission in either direction. So the study that we're working on right now is basically looking at fence designs and a way to prevent the animals from coming in contact with one another. So chronic wasting disease is a neurological disease that's specific to the deer family. It affects white-tailed deer, which we have here in Pennsylvania. It also affects mule deer, moose, elk, caribou. And it's basically a neurological disease that causes wasting over time. So the animal becomes infected with the disease. It takes months and years to progress to where you see clinical signs. A deer may be 1.5 years old before it finally succumbs to the disease and dies. And basically it's caused by a prion that's in the brain. It misfolds somehow, and then we don't know how all the disease is transmitted. but we know that there is transmission through nose-to-nose contact, through the saliva, through bodily fluids. So the project that we're working on now is a grant with the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture, where we're looking at different fence designs and ways to keep captive deer and wild deer separated, keep some distance between them so that they don't easily transmit the disease between captive and wild deer. This is one of our 2-year-old bucks, and right now we're in the end of July, and the antlers are just about fully grown. And then in late August, the antlers will harden. The bucks will rub the velvet off the antlers, and then they'll have the hard antler that they use to fight with during the breeding season and to establish dominance. We have some videos here of some of the bigger bucks that we have at the facility. A highlight of our tours here are people want to see the big bucks that we have. When you go out in the wild in Pennsylvania, typically the bucks that you're looking at are 1-year-old, 2-year-old, a few 3-year-olds, and maybe occasionally you'll get a 4-year-old or older buck. But here in captivity, we can basically control the age of the animals and let them grow older. So antlers don't peak, they don't get their peak growth until the animals are about somewhere between 4 and 6, maybe sometimes 8 years old. So people like to come here and see the bigger bucks that we have in the older age classes. And some of the videos that you're looking at here are bucks in the older age classes, 4, 5, 6-year-old bucks of some of the ones that we currently have at the facility.